Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Rebel soul child got a fist ball, I'm a respawn of ancestors, and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up, I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless, yeah, I got next up, right, now we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride, you do better keeping it quiet, my pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened, I like who I am, but I'm biased, the palette is right, and my drip is a fountain, I'm not like these regular guys, all of that talk is misguided, she like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim, I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch, the label cut the check like the bladesman, something sparking where his brain is, the beat is somewhere where they prayers in, Geronimo the way I make the bass jump when no parachute is tasting.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? We are here, another episode of Throwing Hands. You know, this is another special episode. As you see, usually we have curtains, people backstage, whole little introduction before we bring people on. But we're gonna switch up the flavor a little bit. But before we give you the full presentation, we gotta give you the full presentation. So even though we switched it up a little bit, we're still gonna keep the sauce somewhat regular. So Josh.
So I gotta give you a now. Let me tell you something. This guy is a musical mastermind. He's quick-witted, spiritually fitted. This guy is meant to catch you by surprise with a 1-2 jab cross left, right, leaving you on the floor ready to say good night. He'll go through a metamorphosis like Morpheus fighting an anthropomorphic contortionist, coming in hot as one of the four horsemen.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's ready to spit some lyrical carnage. He's the one and only Prince Salvage. What's up, man?
Appreciate it. That was beautiful.
I
Appreciate
had to do
that.
it in like 5 minutes.
That was nice. I appreciate how y'all doing, man.
Doing good.
Chilling, man. We're chilling, man. It's good to have you on, man.
You too.
We met at Rage.
Raging Age, yeah.
You had one of your fighters on.
Yeah. Timothy Whitfield.
Yeah. So we met you there. You had one of the best introductions to the ring that I've been a part of.
Nice.
So you definitely set your print on the show before he even got an octagon.
Yeah, that's my boy. I go back with his mom a few years, so when I linked up with him, he was saying he was getting to the fight game. He was saying he wanted to do boxing at first, so I'm like, okay, that's my specialty. That's what we're going to do. But later down the line, it turned out to me. And I was kind of confused because I was like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I watch it.
Yeah.
We all cousins at the same end of the day. But and then he only did boxing training too. So I was like, I'm let's see how this go. And, he came up short, but he did better than people expected. So I just told him to keep striving. He wanted me to perform with him. I showed him the songs I got. I actually wanted to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was gonna be the one, but he was infatuated with so that's what we went with. It was kind of crazy going there because I haven't performed it about probably like a year and a half. And my co-partner on the last, kind of iffy about performing and stuff like that. So up until like 3 days before the fight, we didn't even know if he was going to show up to do it. So
Oh man.
I did a whole edit. With me and the other person on there, took him out just in case he didn't show because he said, we'll see. And I'm a business person, so I don't got time for we'll see. So I always have a plan B, plan C ready. Then Wednesday, the fight was Friday, so Wednesday, so 2 days. He called me. What time is it, bro? Starts at 6. He goes on probably like a little later, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there, bro. You sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there." Okay. So now we got a full set. And, everything just flowed with a natural infinity, and everything just flowed with a natural infinity and went together good.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, he showed up 2 days before. He told me he was gonna show up 2 days prior. Ever since then, everything flowed with a natural infinity and went nice. So
Yeah. We always got to go through a little rough period before you get to the sunshine.
That's what makes the blessing even better. You know what it took to get plan goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and James too. We were like constantly like, "We're the Four Horsemen."
Definitely, it
Like a good
definitely was
couple
stuck in
months.
my
Like it
head.
was just
Yeah,
so catchy.
yeah, definitely.
That'd have been the best walkouts I'd ever seen so far,
Yeah,
hands down.
I'm glad I
Appreciate
was a
that.
part of that. We filmed the whole music video. You know.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
pretty dope.
you said though, Timothy was talking about, possibly doing MMA. At first he was talking about boxing, and that's more of your forte. So, like, tell us a little bit about that. 'Cause I see the gold back here. We chilling with the gold. So, tell us a little bit more about, you and what that
Yeah,
is.
man. Let's dive into it. So I was amateur champion. 2015. I had to go to, I believe, Argentina to win this one. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Switch
Oh, switch the camera.
that.
So this one I won in 2015. That's back in California because I'm originally from Compton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because I'm going back into it, so I had stopped boxing. So but let's go even further. So I was trained by Jeff Mayweather.
Okay.
If you look at my Instagram and Facebook history, you see it's all over. So I had a little time. I seen most historical sparrings to some you could barely imagine. I seen Adrian Broner spar
Hey.
Earl Spence Jr. I seen Floyd spar Earl Spence Jr. I seen Guillermo Rigondeaux, who's a 122 pounder, spar. I seen Tank fight everybody. I have seen him put people down that you wouldn't believe that he put down. I seen Tank
Damn.
spar dang their light heavyweights
Yeah.
and had them rocking with the chin. So I always cherish my time doing that. I worked with a little bit at Guillermo Hernandez boxing back in the day. Yeah, back in East LA. I had stopped
Oh, okay.
and music became my calling at that time because I guess I was supposed to do music prior, but I just focused on the sport, which that's my first. So I went into a group called 2020 Gang, became the co-leader of that. And we was just shutting shit down. We was going all over. Got to meet people that I cherish: Chris Brown, Nipsey Hussle. Got to work with my cousin out here, Willie North Pole, Hannibal Leg. A lot of good people. Chris for the first time.
Nice.
It go on like that'd be a whole different podcast we have to do just to get that in. So I was in music for about the last 7 years, maybe 7 8 years. And I took that seriously. I think I ran my course with that. I do it here and there, but God's put it in my spirit to go back into the sport. So I'm working with Keenan Carbonall out here from South Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Keenan and the Learning Center. Working with them to get back in the game.
Nice. And so tell us like in regards to your background, like with your record and like what really inspired you as a kid that got you into this and then pursuing forward and bringing you to this point. And as you said, you're ready to take this, and then you just got this belt too as well from David Benavides, which is pretty fire. People, this thing's heavy too. That thing's heavy.
um, I mean, you can ask my parents ever since I was a kid, like 4 5 6 years old. Like boxing, you know what I mean? Every family fight, I was always my dad had us watching every Tyson fight back when there was VHS.
Yeah.
I'm born in '92, so I'm a '90s baby. So back when he had recorded every Tyson fight, I was
Damn.
watching the pay per view. We had the family parties and stuff like that. And we were watching the same Tyson fight that week because he recorded it. I never get tired of it. I remember that. My big influences, of course, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was my pretty much the reason why I wanted to get into the sport. But I was watching people back then, like people I grew up on, like Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Felix Trinidad. I was style left hand. I'm left-handed.
It's always good.
Yeah.
To it with your lefty because
Man,
it changes the love for it. You slipping
Yeah.
right, you start doing that stuff early,
And you
tagging
don't know that
people.
as a kid either. That's the crazy part. You never acknowledge that as a kid. You get older and start learning the sport. I
I'm
was
dangerous.
blessed.
I'm
Yeah.
That
dangerous.
right hand, that left hand, yeah. I remember Hector Macho, rest in peace. Grew up. My mama couldn't stand him, but my dad loved him. I used to have this man curl. My dad, well, shave that off him. And she, I'll be mad because he was like, well, sorry. 2 weeks later, we grow right back. I was obsessed with Hector Camacho. Back in the day, I actually got to know
Hey, that's
never
real
follow
talk,
your
man.
never follow your heroes and idols because sometimes they ain't what you turn out to be. Like
I,
90% of the
so I got a
Mhm.
question about that
time.
because I was talking to some people a couple weeks ago, and they were, a lot of debate about sports figures. Are they role models? And we got into the conversation because the person, why isn't our role models more doctors, lawyers, and things like that? So, but I, I took it in the sense of we don't create role models. Child, what a child sees and what a child,
What they spirit connect to,
what
more
they,
close
yeah,
to. Yeah.
what they feel guides them or what they look up to get guidance, we can't choose that. So, do you feel sports figures are role
I mean, it depends on who it is. Um, what's the conscious decision of why is that your role? See, I grew up. I love Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather was my guy. I love Manny Pacquiao. Anytime he had to lose, I knew Floyd was going to beat him, but dang, I hate to see him lose. Sean Porter's one of these guys too. Is like, I love Sean Porter, but I hate to see you lose. But I'm not. I can't let my bias. That's one thing you can never do in the sport. You can never let your biasness dictate how fight. Like I'm close to David Benavidez. I kind of don't like Canelo just because he do. There's a history behind that. But I can't say that Canelo just don't have a shot if that fight ever happens, just because David's gonna crush him. I see it going towards him. But that's out of body, like knowing what fighters like. You know what I mean? Styles make fights. So to your question, so Manny
that
Pacquiao,
part.
yeah,
Styles makes fights.
Styles make fights. So Manny Pacquiao is a god. Doesn't talk much, but an assassin. That would be to me something I would look up to. But
Because
then
there's reason behind that.
there's
There's some
reason,
substance.
there's
There's
substance.
some meat and potatoes.
Yeah, parents knowing that put their kids on this sport, they not gonna mind that. Look, that's a good little role model. They more than likely love Pacquiao themselves. But then you have Floyd Mayweather back in the day, cocky, brashy, undefeated, and Floyd just connected to me as a kid, just because okay, let's keep it a buck. There's a lot of racism, especially in the sport. You know what I mean? And
Especially growing up in the '90s and that time period,
man,
it was a lot more than people understood.
yeah, like Floyd was one of the people who took that. I want you to hate me because that's what I hate. He was good at running his mouth and backing it up at the same time. And everything he said was true. And I was like, man, I just love how honest he is. I'm a Virgo, so his entity is brutally honest. Like I just love Floyd's style, his flashiness, talking shit.
It's funny because I'm a Virgo too, and I connect the same way because it's like, and that brings us to a very very good point
Because I
about
was
this
going
question.
somewhere with that too.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Then.
No, I was saying because like people, kids mainly relate to Floyd because you was that kid that was picked on. People said you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, you tell people your dreams, you don't ever tell people your dreams. Like child is to be badass. Rapper from Compton from my city. He said it just this week alone. Never announce your blessing. Where he said, I'm trying to word it, not to butcher what he said, but never announce what you're finna do. Only talk about when it's time to say check. And growing up, you hear you can't do this, you're too black to do this, and you're too big to do this, and you're too slow to do that. People saying you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't. And they did the same to Floyd. a way of proving wrong. He would talk shit to you, tell you about yourself, and prove you wrong. You just leave a bad taste in their mouth. And I'm like, man, I want to be this dude, bro. And that's that connection that Floyd had, where he was that kid. He was once like, Floyd can do it, I can do it. So shout out to Floyd Mayweather. Rest in peace, Roger Mayweather. Like you said, most people don't know shit about boxing.
Man, that and that goes very all that's very true. It's crazy too because I was gonna come with this part. We talk about journeys a lot on this show, and talk about delivering the human side of the fighter. Because a lot of people don't even know what that person is like outside of the ring. Especially when we talk about man things like that. It was looked at as such a savage sport for such a long time, and so the journey things are crazy. So when I look at role models, you gave it to me in a whole different aspect on Floyd too, because you're right, as an adult at that time, hated
Yeah.
they hated him. Shit talking, this talk, cocky mother. They hated him.
Do you remember how many people wanted Connor to win when he fought him?
Yeah,
How
dude,
much money I
Bro.
made off
dude,
that?
right.
Even I knew Floyd was gonna win that one.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing about Floyd that his point of
He
view
used their
as a
hate
kid,
against him. He used their
as,
hate
right,
against him.
Mhm.
as a kid, it's what we thrived on because we was doing, like you said, against all odds. We doing it against odds that are stacked against us.
Mhm.
But it's crazy because on the flip side, like we were talking about, the parents, they don't want you to be looking at him as a role model.
Mhm.
Now, compared to Manny Pacquiao, at the time, night and day. Pacquiao is supposed to be your role model out of those two. Not you can't say anything sour about Pacquiao. I mean, look what he's done with his career and what he's done afterwards, and what he's doing currently. But look what Floyd's done. Look what he's doing, and look at how he did it.
Even the exhibition matches he's currently doing, like it's
It's groundbreaking.
even at his age, like what he's already into his 40s, right?
He's 45, 46.
Damn.
People still want to see him in the ring.
One
Not
day you'll
over.
lose.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to put race in it, but in boxing and combat, a lot of times there is in it. They used to see that one loss. Like that's why I was sad that Deontay had to take his loss. Just like Floyd, I love Deontay the same way, but he was a different type of. Yeah,
Mhm.
he
Journey was totally
his, came in the boxing 22, 23 as a pastor. You can feel the guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
that size, like in his early days, in heavy,
Wow.
knocking dudes out like Tyson. Yeah, there was something going on great. Tyson, heartbroken from that. I thought that was the next one. You gonna go 50-year-old life, Floyd?
Mhm. Yeah, no
Uh,
kidding.
you know, uh, journey. So
Yeah.
Lennox Lewis. When I break down that, like what you were saying, like the next 50, and all that stuff, I seen the heart. Deontay got heart.
Shit.
He got more heart than most people know. But when I look at guys like Lennox Lewis, or shit, we can just do the first Lennox, George, guys like that. Deontay ain't better than them.
No.
And I think that at time he had to lose to make a next step in his. And I think the competition was not the same. So going against Fury was a next step because Fury to me was the only one left for him. So I think now the torch has been passed. Fury's going to be gone soon. I think Deontay he still has a few years of real domination
to
left
fight
in him.
Usyk for all the other belts, and then whoever's the champion after Fury leaves, take their belt, become undisputed. Because you're right, like if this was back in them heavyweight days, I don't think Deontay would have made it.
Well, even if he did, he would have already had lost
Yeah,
quite a
Yeah.
few of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
Quite a few. And you're not going up against the Foremans, you're not going against the Nortons, you're not going up against, guys like that and coming out just unscathed. And I think that I think it was good for his career in a few
Yeah.
ways. Like
Yeah.
it humbleized him in a sense, because Deontay was he knew there was nobody else out there.
He
Besides
did start
Fury.
getting cocky at them times too. The fame started to go off of Floyd, go on him. It's not like he couldn't handle it, but I've been there with all the attention's on you. You start feeling yourself,
Yep.
beside yourself a little bit. Just when he was like Dominic Brazil, the first round knockout. It was entertaining. I could feel your heartbeat. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
He was just talking all this shit. I was like, damn, I don't said, but when he was fighting Tyson Fury, but he started to get out of his zone, and it had to put him back to where he needed to be. He did beat the fuck out of Brazil.
And leading into that Fury fight, even like you said, the first Fury fight, he was talking crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. I love Deontay. I was
Yeah.
like, ooh.
This is different.
This
He must have been talking to Floyd behind the scenes or something. Like, what is
yeah,
this?
this that bully team sell your fight shit.
Hey, you notice too how they did that, right? So you remember like the press tour. This is what Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor started the press tours for. The second was Deontay Tyson Fury. So I'm like, Showtime trying to relive that Floyd and Conor moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I-
Another European versus American black fight,
That
and they
part.
talking the exact
That
same
part.
shit. Yeah.
That part. I think people it don't matter where we look. NFL, NBA, WWE, soccer, boxing, it all says entertainment.
Amen.
Every one of those sports has word entertainment somewhere along the way. Whether it's in their slogan or their what do you call it when what you live by or whatever. So entertainment factor is always what they're after. And we always talked about it. You mentioned it earlier. Styles make fights. Um, you know, it also nowadays it comes down to can you speak? You have two styles that can match up and speak for a fight too.
You see, Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford ain't really talking like that. Even though they upcoming fight, they've been talking a lot. You know, I like what Earl Spence. I'm the big fish. You can't catch no Moby Dick with no fishing pole. Get out of here. You know, I'm liking that energy because entertaining makes you like, man, I can't wait till July 29th, bro. What's gonna happen? G? Like,
So let's talk about a little bit about since we're on the boxing scene, we're dabbling. Let's talk about the Crawford and the Spence fight. Obviously, this fight's overdue.
yeah.
I'd say about 3 years overdue at least. What
But if
Spence
you
had
think
to
about it, it's always like that though.
yeah,
The Mayweather Pacquiao fight was like 5, 6 years old.
'cause
We were supposed to see Tank and Ryan Garcia 4 years ago.
glad we did.
I know, right? So
I'm glad we
everything
did.
happens for a reason when it's time to happen. Because if it was 3, 4 years ago with Terrence Crawford, it wouldn't have been undisputed. You know what I mean? All that build up, talk, it just fits.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? One I definitely or wish that could have happened definitely was the Tyson Fury with Anthony Joshua. And it's like with that case so much, it's like I don't know if it's like that like he constantly gets done dirty, if it's like genuine losses, but
Who?
I don't with Anthony Joshua, it's like the ups and downs. Like when he first lost to I forget his name, but then he came back, got a decision win. Then he fights Usyk, loses the first one. He's gonna come back, second one, and then boom. After the second one, he loses again, and he was so mad.
Anthony Joshua do.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Porter is one of the best fighters out there. But here,
Thurman was. I wish that's what I said with Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury. I wish we could have seen Thurman versus
Mhm.
Spence.
But I wish Thurman could have hit his stride at the right time. Thurman was I liked Thurman coming up a lot.
Yeah,
I really did. Like
I
I
don't think he's
enjoyed
ready for Pacquiao.
watching him.
He wasn't. He wasn't ready for Pacquiao at that time.
No,
Yeah.
like he fought some dudes that he shouldn't have fought when he fought them. You know, how much does that mean? Because being in that industry and going through and coming up, and you always will look at it in like the rank. Like, okay, you're outside the top 15. You always want to be there. But how much does it mean to a fighter to be on time?
Time isn't.
Like not taking the fights too soon, not fighting that bad style that is a bad stylistic fight for you, not taking that fight too soon, being in your head because you want to do it.
Sometimes that's where your trainers and your staff come in. Sometimes
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have to save the fighter from themselves. Like with Ryan Garcia and Tank. As much as I don't like to do, Oscar De La Hoya was trying to stop and save him from that. You know what I mean? Because he knew what time it was, but Ryan was persistent. You
Mhm.
know, I'm tired. He wanted it, so what was they supposed to do? By the time it happened, we could just pray for the best for you.
Yeah.
For Floyd at that time, but they took that risk. Floyd 26. Exactly.
Yep. It's the money. Money.
So I think everything's learning experience. Like even Jamel Charlo versus Erickson Lubin. Erickson was too young for that. Too young.
Charlo was put that pressure on him.
Put him to sleep in the first round where he. I was like, oh no, yeah. And then you see it kind of now too. Erickson still kind of got it. He's not the same fighter when he was first coming up because it can do a lot of damage to you. So
A
it really
knockout like that, it make you think about if you really want to fight.
yeah. Um, Even when you have like a 140-pound Kell Brook versus a 160-pounder Triple G, somebody should have stopped.
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing too. And I know obviously sport you have to have guys that just are just brave or need a paycheck or what have you, because there's guys like Triple G.
Yeah.
He it, Pacquiao's gonna beat you up, but Triple G's hit you with a back every fucking punch.
Got a chin too. Like even at his age,
Two.
like
That motherfucker chin might
going
be the best thing on him. Like,
I was like,
he just keeps on
got a
taking it.
Popeye chin.
Like I
man.
still remember constantly watching the clips in slow mo when Canelo and Triple G fought, and it just shows like that where it's like throwing with everything you got. He just walks forward. I'm like, bro.
I think that one. That was too. That Triple G. That's one of the fights too aged out, but I feel like if that was a Triple G from 2014, 2015,
He'd have
Yeah.
killed. He'd have killed Canelo back then.
yeah, they know what they do.
So, you know, speaking of that, you know, aging him out, things of that nature. How did you decide, and when did you decide? When did you know you wanted to take it to the pro level? You wanted to move towards more career path.
I was boxing since I was like 13 years old. I want to take it serious because I was having the like 19, 20 time I wanted to be Floyd. So that setback. Music came in, so everything was for a reason. But then God brought me back. Just in time. You're not too old because you already have that experience. You know what I mean? You're not too young, too seasoned. show them what they get because it's a hurt business.
Now, that's also a fascinating thing I like to think of because you're also in that position where you say that now you're doing coaching for kids and everything. So you get to have both sides perspective in regards to skill development because you're now not only looking at it as the boxer, the fighter's perspective of how you're supposed to train, but now as the coach perspective, you're seeing almost a mirror of yourself of what you're trying to train yourself to be.
That's where
And it's a whole like not necessarily a psychosis, but psychology where it's like you're not only building your own foundation, but now you're taking it to more advanced levels to like hyper advance it.
I'm not that young kid I used to be. That young cocky, I'm knocking everything out, moving. I was crazy. I was fine with Adrian Broner, the young Adrian. So now that I'm still there, but I'm more humble and more mature now. So now I'm seeing, like you said, a split image of these kids, and now I can help them if I see them going the wrong route. Okay, let's go here. So give that advice that wasn't given to me because back then it seemed like whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I have a different image of it. Even the other day or a week ago, he was having the shoulder roll. He nice at it. I was trying to tell him like, hey, do that. Also go back. Yeah. If you really watch Floyd and see how he do, he just didn't do the shoulder roll the whole fight. He wants to do that when he's backing up or going to lean to you like that. So that's all you gonna do is failure. And he took that and ran with it. You know what I mean? And that feels good to me to help kids. I want them to be better than I
Hmm.
was back then.
Exactly.
Does that help you when you
Yes.
get back into the gym?
Yes. Motivates me. The fact that I can keep up that right there, that definitely strive. I feel like don't going in that day, 5 minutes of being in their presence. That's all I was
Hmm.
supposed to
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And especially too because the concept of that split perspective is that now you get to understand that the coaches aspire to train you because they see your potential. You get to see into these kids that you're teaching, and then also you get to still somehow reflect that on yourself, your skill development, take leaps ahead.
absolutely. That also I'm still
Hmm.
learning. I'm
Hmm.
still learning.
Yeah, that's what I love about just combat sports in general, boxing, MMA across the board as a whole is that it's almost like there is no sense of mastery because it's an ever evolving sport. There's always going to be the next generation. So it's almost like you always have to be a lifelong student in this discipline.
Yeah, the moment you stop learning, that's when it's really time to grow.
Hmm.
You know, the moment you stop learning, you think you know it all. That's when you find out you don't.
Yep.
Adrian Broner thought he knew it all until he was Marcos Maidana.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly.
Still a legendary fight. People don't really give him credit for it. Shout out to YouTube, man. I seen that video a few days ago. That's a four-time division champ.
Yeah.
To see a fighter go out like that, best one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Legendary fights like that with Madonna, where people like to go back to that fight because that's when he got humble. And you know, black cocky move to Texas. You don't like that, but if you look back at that, he actually showed a little Deontay Wilder he had heart. He had heart in that fight. Like he did not get knocked out. He got back up. He was actually starting to win some
Yeah.
rounds. And that's what it's about too. This sport, your true self is gonna show.
Hmm.
When the bell ring is gonna show. There's no hiding. There's no faking. There's no one that can fight for you. With Earl Spence, Jamel Charlo talking a lot of shit. Half Texas brothers and they
Hmm.
trained together. That's cool and all, but I'm going with Spence on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you and Crawford, it was July 29th. Ding ding. That's you, the ref ain't fighting. So everything's gonna come to the light once you get your true. You have a dog gonna show in that ring.
Yeah.
That means a lot too, 'cause, a lot of people don't take into account, you know, Kobe Covington, one of the best at getting in people's heads. That's plain and simple. He gets people outside of themselves so often. Um,
Cello Sunday.
he
Son.
he was like the beginner of that. He like kicked it off. He reminds me of back. We can go a little further. I mean, he didn't do it the same way, but Ken Shamrock used to do
Oh
his
my
thing
god.
too.
His oh my god, his beef between
Tito Ortiz.
yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
Legendary.
the chair. That shit had me dying. I remember when Tito beat Ken Shamrock's brother the cage. And didn't he lose the first fight to Ken because it was the ref pulled him up. Tito went for a takedown again, but then Ken knew that and submitted him.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
Came back.
yeah, yep. Wait. So Which was the better war? Ken and Tito's or Khabib and Conor?
Ah, see.
I gotta go with Ken and Tito, man, because they ran it back. Khabib and Conor didn't run it back. Conor was running his mouth like
Because
he
Conor got
do.
arrested.
Yeah, that's what makes that fight so big because the outside shit that was going on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Connor throwing the thing at his bus, breaking the window, going to jail. It's like he think notorious Big for real. Like that outside stuff was really made that. But Ken and Tito, it was the outside and inside stuff and the rematch at that. They never had a rematch, Connor and Khabib, and then he got his ass whooped. But then they showed like the close up highlights. He was like, "Bro, I'm sorry, I was just playing on the ground." And I'm like, "Whoa, this is Connor." Like I said, once you get in that cage or in that ring, your real who you is gonna show.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that notorious, whatever wooty woo tough exterior, Connor had to show. And then he showed it in the Floyd fight, where you was running your mouth crazy,
Yeah.
but your real self gonna show.
Yeah. That's why my buddy Cole that I've known since high school, we when we were watching the Floyd versus Conor fight, he was like, "Oh no, man, Floyd's Conor's gonna beat his ass. He's gonna beat his ass." And I just after watching Nate Diaz fight, I was like, cardio. It's like I knew it. I knew that Floyd was just gonna be more defensive in the first few rounds. Conor being the one who's wants immediate knockout, he's
Trying to
gonna push
showboat.
it. Yep, and then gas goes out, and then Floyd comes in. Boom, boom. Like honestly, my heart wanted Conor to win, but I knew Floyd was gonna win. It was just realistic in regards to
You know what?
observations and understanding.
That's like switch gears. We talk about with James Toney came to the UFC for the first time, and everybody was afraid of his hands. The boxing, the boxing. He lasted 22 and a half seconds with air capacity. And it was done. It was done. So, I mean, look,
I think with rest in peace.
oh, Kimbo.
Kimbo. Yeah. He's in the streets knocking him out. In that cage, doing some damage. Tapped out, knocked out, UFC. But he had a whole undefeated record in boxing because he was boxing at the same time, and every fight he had was knockouts.
So do you think Kimbo would have done? Kimbo's very successful in the UFC to me.
He is, but when he first came
He
in,
was getting that.
yeah,
But do you think Kimbo would have had a longer career and had a little bit more success if he would have gotten to BKFC
Absolutely.
the way
yeah,
BKFC
Oh, yeah.
is today?
That's exactly
yeah.
what his backstreet fights
Look
were.
at his last fight. Was his last fight? He knocked out Ken Shamrock. I love Ken. I used to do ankle lock. I used to watch him on UFC and wrestling. We didn't find the Undertaker as a kid. Ken Shamrock was that dude, man.
Yeah.
The fact that Kimbo knocked him out,
What game did he debut in?
It was
like,
UFC Undisputed 2000.
no, with WWE. Because I remember
that's like
WWE one.
WWF attitude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you had
Oh.
him, it was like automatic. That fucking ankle lock, man, it
that's
was
where
That's
I
automatic.
got that
hilarious.
shit from. You know,
Right.
you know who's also I like. Brock Lesnar.
He's actually one of the few two that you see come over from WWE that end up having successful
And
career.
beat
Just see like
ass.
CM Punk.
They said they fired him from WWE because he was too rough. He was too strong. And it shows in UFC where it's like he can get his ass punched the fuck out for about 5 minutes and come back with one hook and knock your ass out bleeding and like you won, but you don't look like you won. Brock was something different, bro. Where it's like I'm scared of Brock. I'm not scared of too much people.
Brock
CM,
Lesnar was. I it's been a while since I seen when they get their ass beat in the octagon, and as the fight's ending, he's still wanting to get some more in. Like,
I was like, it's Deontay Wilder.
but see, Deontay Wilder don't get his ass beat like
Nah,
that. Like,
he
I've
could
just
be
seen
losing
Brock get
rounds.
his ass beat
Yeah,
and be like, "Fuck you" afterwards. Like
yeah. Strength comes.
Frank Mir and Brock, like that Frank Mir and Brock shit. That was crazy. Frank.
And that you know what that just made me think of too is that remember Deontay actually offered a fight to Francis to do 2-fight deal. Remember, it's do one in boxing and one in MMA for
It's
PFL.
fucking stupid.
So let's talk
Dude,
about that.
dude,
No, it's
that-
fucking stupid.
that's a whole can of worms.
Like, bro, I thought Deontay learned his lesson the first time. Bro, why you trying to do James Tony? Keep your ass in that boxing.
Mhm.
Francis and Malcolm when it comes to boxing.
Let him
Fine.
come.
Deontay, never stay. Deontay, I'm talking to you, bro. I talked to you in 2018 and then 2021. I love you. Your black ass up the motherfucking cage, bro. You do not belong in that. I don't give a fuck what they're trying to set your ass up. What experience do he have?
Bro, it's a whole different ballpark. Like, didn't Clarissa Shields do a
She
transition?
did it.
Yeah,
did it,
she
but
won.
She had training in it. I never seen Deontay.
Yeah.
That's because it ain't about to happen. Like, first of all, no, I know.
Didn't he even?
But-
Yeah, he said the contract too.
But is it? What is it that he really wants it to happen, or he wants the money? I think it's the latter. I don't think he really wants the fuck. First of all, I really want to pull up the goddamn UFC heavyweight roster. What the hell you go to the top for?
Hey, that's it too.
Bro.
Why you start there?
Look,
He hits like a
John
Ford
Jones
Focus.
took 3 years off and sat down at a buffet and didn't leave until he gained 100 pounds. Okay, to go fight this man. Why would you sign up and say, you know what? I'm gonna go beat him at. No, you don't go to the no. Listen, I forgot who it was he was fighting. I forgot who it was, but he was swinging. He had him up against the corner, and he was swinging
like
way over.
No,
It was like Rose.
He was swinging way over his head. I just picture the fight just like that, but except in the middle of the ring, and then one of those like turns into a
Yep.
and then the fight's over within the first round.
as soon as he goes,
Like Rosenstruck or something. Rosenstrike. That was the one that Francis fought as well, where you saw him there just swinging. Like that's what I think would happen with Deontay as well. Like he's gonna start, like you said, get in the middle. Francis is massive compared to Deontay too. Like Deontay, he's big but
tall.
slender. Yeah,
He's tall.
yeah.
Down the boxing ring, that'll be interesting.
Would be now, yeah, because Deontay knows how to box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whether it goes the distance or whether he knocks, I just think he knows how to box. I'm not saying Nagano doesn't know how to box, but I don't think it's correct.
Yeah, he hasn't
Correct.
had.
And
much
Nagano
skill
is
development.
not the greatest on the ground. It's
Yeah.
not like we're sitting up here saying this is some dude that's great on the ground or nothing. It's just the logistics of the sport.
He knows more than Deontay.
And he's too fucking big. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck. Nobody says.
And
Fuck that.
different
he's
rule
big.
set entirely because like you consider the fact with boxing, you can as soon as they go down, you have to stop. There's 8 count going. On MMA, you know, if they're in a swing contest and Deontay gets pressured against the cage and Francis lands the forward focus right there on the chin,
Can you
Then there's nothing
imagine?
to stop it hitting the ground.
Can you imagine the Ngannou posturing up in a full mount? I just
Boom,
can't.
boom.
Hammer fist. Oh my
It'd be bad. Who, Ngannou?
Francis.
Hell
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
See him pick up
Hell
Shaquille O'Neal.
yeah.
He got it.
Thinking.
He got a chin. He got a chin. How's he gonna react?
The only thing I can think of is when after he got out the ring with Tyson Fury and this was presented himself, he's thinking, all right, he doesn't have the hand speed of Tyson, which is 100% correct. But Tyson don't punch like Ngannou either.
No,
I don't care what nobody say. That shit is ridiculous. I mean, but again, I mean, we've seen it in a lot of different ways now, and you know, I don't know. I think that's a bad. So getting back into what you're doing, going back into boxing, taking some time off. Where do you see the sport? Uh, where have you seen as far as the change since you were in it, took the time off, been able to examine it, and now coming back? How do you feel coming back, especially in your division? Especially in your division, like
I see a huge change. It's kind of all over the place. Back then, people Floyd, Pacquiao, Canelo was rising up. Miguel Cotto was out going out the door.
yeah,
Deontay was rising up. There was a few names where there was a lot of rise ups, but like if it was a Floyd Mayweather fight, 10 out of 10 you can put your money on Floyd, you gonna win every time. It's not like that. Damn, it's a good fight. Like, as much as I'm going for Spencer Crawford, I don't really know who's gonna win that fight. I just have the edge with Spence just because he's more dynamic. He's more of a dog. He's built that division. So the fight is up for grabs. The fight game is up for grabs with the dudes. Like I still is shocked with they talking about Shakur Stevenson and thing. Yeah, and I see
I think that matchup right there.
that's probably the best fight of the year.
I think this might be the best fight of the last 3, 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years. I mean, this one right here that's coming up on the 29th of July, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. is going to be probably one of the best fights we've seen in 5 to 6. It could be one of the best fights we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
It has the ability, right? Right. And they've been paddling. They've been titty tatting with people. We have not seen the best Errol Spence. We have not seen the best of Terrence Crawford. I don't think people really pushed them to their true extent. That this is
They
going to
have
be the
not
same.
seen
You think about it, Ryan. I love Ryan Garcia.
it. Me too. Shout out to
I
Ryan.
love
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia. I was wishing, hoping, praying,
Yeah.
and I'm serious. People were talking shit to me about it. And I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna stand behind him. I was wishing, hoping,
We
and
gotta
praying.
represent.
Right. And as good as Ryan is, Tank did him. He made it light work. He made it light work. Quick.
He did him a favor. Because could you imagine if he would have fought like Devin Haney or Pitbull Cruz,
Who?
Ryan?
Ryan.
Because I feel like Tank went a little easy.
And like what you were talking about before, it's like time. Like too soon, too late. With Ryan, it's just I feel it's too soon.
I don't think there's any time where you might be ready for maybe 2028, 2029, something
Yeah.
like.
But I
Now that they
don't.
on Earl and Crawford age.
I don't think. See, I'm kind of torn. After
He is.
Haney's last performance, I think Ryan can hang with Haney.
You think so?
After Haney's last performance, I think Ryan can hang with
No,
Haney.
I think his last performance was trash.
And I think Lomachenko won.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that also puts a light on what people have not been seeing with Shakur, with other guys here. They've been looking at Haney, and Haney, again, circuit's not as strong. very top heavy, and Haney was kind of picking apart people.
Yeah.
So, Lomachenko ain't no fucking pushover.
He took it to him. Haney, thing about Haney is special because you don't know what Haney is going to show. Expect that one to show up. I thought a whole different was. I don't know, but at the same time, I think he was weight because he's trying to go to 140. He's tired of going to 135. You can tell his body's not used to it like he used to be. So I think
There
that
was a lot of like like conditioning issues that kind of
he
seemed.
had a lot. Like people didn't even think he was gonna make weight. He barely made 134.8 something like that. They was thinking like he was looking too big just days prior. It was like he got to be like 138, 140, 140 something. Like he can't make 135.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I like to do with it. But Haney always shows something different.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
It's like Roy Jones.
That's
He
very
showed
true.
with Linares, he got a chance. So if Ryan were to fight Haney, the only way I feel he could win is with that left hand. If
Mm-hmm.
he could knock Haney out. But I've seen Tank drop Haney in the middle of the ring when they sparring and he get back up and then Tank in for a little. So it's like these dudes are special. These are something different. Like, I love Ryan too. First of all, you can't be flat footed and be Haney. I'm sorry. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So
And they
Ryan has
fought
to
an
fix it.
amateur, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Haney
like what,
won.
2-3 times?
Haney won each time.
You want you want to
Yeah,
With
yeah,
Ryan Garcia.
yeah. He won every time.
That makes me feel more like Ryan.
No, reason you know what? No, you're right. Because the reason he can get him now because he switched trainers. That's the best person you can get
And
this day and time.
and now he moved up in weight too, because Ryan even said too that like he can't cut down to that weight no more. Like I think they're both now hitting that point with their age that
It's
just
not
trying to
even
get
just the
down that.
age, that muscle
Like 23,
memory, and
20.
yeah, it's not
Mhm.
even just the age, it's that muscle. You put on when you put on muscle like that, it layers like that. You can only lose so much body weight, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many times your body can do
Canelo is big.
Dude, he is
Canelo is huge,
shredded.
bro.
That's why I was so surprised when he fought Plant.
Yeah.
I was so surprised when he fought him and he got handled the way he did. Like, I mean, obviously, dog has their day. But Canelo's big. Way easier.
Huge, bro.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know how he does it. I need to learn what he's doing. I need to take pictures of what he got going on. Him and
Adrian.
Adrian, 215. He's
Mhm.
215. Like, he just fought 60 pound cut.
Wow. Adrian Broner is a different animal.
Mhm.
I've always felt for Adrian Broner. I've always felt like he didn't have like, and I say that respectfully because he was in Floyd Mayweather's corner for a long time, but I just feel like he didn't have the right guidance. Um, and I don't think Floyd for a while was right there, but you know,
He got to Floyd.
Mhm.
right.
Adrian had people in his corner that he cared about. Shea Smith. He had a lot of people that cared about him. He was just so hard. Tell you on camera. I've seen him have talked with Adrian personally. He would even say on camera, Adrian don't know how to turn it on, turn it off. And he would tell this man that every time when they, Adrian, man, fuck you talking about, big bro. You don't know everything, big bro. come on, like he's so stubborn, bro. Like he told him he didn't think he should take that at that time. Yeah,
Donna's like baby Pacquiao. Yeah. Aggr- Aggressive, spur of the moment, just out of nowhere, fucking like
just like you can hear him, snap back. Pretty much over that. Stood in there.
Collins. So real quick, since we're here, we talked about a lot of back and forth. So Gotti, Floyd, what the fuck happened?
Gotti
And
got his
what's
ass beat.
next?
Oh, you mean John Gotti? I thought you meant
Yeah,
Arturo
no,
Gotti.
no. Oh, Arturo Gotti, that's going back. That's a double. That's a double handbrake. Ain't
Yeah,
it? That's
the
a double
When
handbrake.
Floyd
Yeah,
broke his hands. They were the same
yeah. And he
Oh,
broke it. He
bro.
broke his first. He broke his left in the first, and his right in the fourth or the third. Fought the rest of the fight, knocked him
again.
out.
John Gotti.
I remember that fight. I remember that fight like it was scripted. Like I remember the hell out of that fight. Prince.
They call him the drunken
Is that the dude? Is that the dude that was always dancing and shit? I think his
Yeah,
name was Prince
yeah.
something.
And he was just
Oh
It's
yeah, Prince
another
Nassim. The dude before. I think he fought him before Prince Nassim. Yes. All right. You're right.
that's
Yes.
the one guy.
you
He was
right.
always like this.
Yes. He was dope. That dude was so.
I remember
good.
watching the fight footage.
Oh my dude.
I was like, bro, that's actually pretty dope.
That was
because
poetry.
It shows too that again, there's not only different levels to this, but the sport in and of itself has unique individuals that
Manuel. Shout out to Manuel Gussis.
Yes. He was super dancer. Motherfucker had.
oh
He had
that was
better moves than
crazy.
he had better moves in the ring than some motherfuckers have on the dance floor.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that there's some styles is so rare that you just can't replicate. Because how
Yeah.
many people can be able to pull that off? Like how you always say there's people or fighters they like to have their hands down, you have to have that type of that dog in you and then the sharpness, your ability to have such a honed skill set to
Hand-eye coordination and reaction time.
exactly. Exactly. Mhm. Mhm.
I seen him do that.
Mhm.
I already seen he's thinking about that. He's gonna try to. He's gonna set me up.
Mhm.
Everything is so slow motion. It's different. So yeah, timing. I don't know. My timing was crazy. It still kind of is. I feel like when I be doing stuff now,
The muscle memory.
muscle
Mhm.
memory.
Yeah.
I can't fight with my hands. So
Yeah.
so people like Augustus to do that, bro. That's
Mhm. I know Conor McGregor. He fights with his hands down.
He put it behind his
Conor
back.
McGregor,
Yeah.
he baits.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
yeah.
he always he
Nate
uses
Diaz.
his lead hand gauge range.
Nate Diaz is my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
action
Nate Diaz.
figure.
How do y'all feel about
As a fighter, Conor McGregor is a fighter. He's a really good fighter. I don't think he's. But
If he's
Conor hit.
absolutely dedicated.
I don't think Conor is top 3 in his division, 5 in his division.
Mhm.
I think he's a little bit better than. I don't. I think he's a little bit better than that. Okay. So when I think top guys, I think Anderson Silva, I think John.
Mm.
I think John Jones. I I think Rashad Evans. I think Rampage. I think um, Frank. You named Brock. Those guys I just named, I think are better fighters than Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor might have been a better champion. He knew how to handle it the right way.
And what I think in Connor's case especially is like what we were talking about before with the, it was pretty quick and easy for him to be able to jump to get both belts. And then you also had the fact that he was like money everywhere, the ego, the pride that started to get to him, and the partying. Like we constantly see the dedication, the discipline, the consistency that he's also expressed that he has difficulty with now. When he
said
yeah,
He's
Those
been
are
one of
just
the
about-
best.
yeah. Oh no, that was spot on. And it's like you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't dedicate yourself, it means nothing. Because the hard work that you're putting in every day at the gym will trump talent any day. Period. Period.
And it's crazy about that because going back to that, if you think um, even Anderson Silva, John Jones is, I can't say Anderson because he can't, but Conor McGregor, you're right. The timing with Conor coming in was so perfect. It was at a point in time when UFC was searching. They were searching
Yeah.
for a new face.
those out of
They're searching for a face. And then you take stride and they don't want. Okay, I'll give you another example. Uh,
Ronda
Ronda
Rousey.
Rousey.
Yep.
Timing.
Mhm.
Timing, bro.
Mhm.
The timing of Ronda was so epic for UFC. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
this bitch don't have to fucking punch people and you don't have to punch the girls in the face and make them bloody and shit yet. We can introduce the women's division slowly, choke them all out, do stuff like make them tap. They're not all bloody and this is fucking fantastic. Then you got Rose that comes in and they're like, oh shit, this bitch is fucking bitches up. You know what I'm saying? And they were holding
kick
dog. When Rose came in, they were like, first of all, you went butch on us. You were this pretty girl in the goddamn. No, straight up, you were this pretty girl in the fucking place when you showed up, and then you went butch on us and started demolishing bitches. Getting the UFC, she's fucking bitches up. They're bloody.
It's like you said though. That's time.
Yeah,
She got points with the LGBT.
dude.
So she knew what she was doing when she did that, bro. A lot of these dudes and females too. I don't know. I don't want to put ruin anything. They know what they.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Straight up.
They know what they be doing, bro. They know how to play the field and play the crowd and run it.
Mhm.
She knew how to
Do it right because
Yeah.
she didn't have to speak.
no,
Once Ronda started speaking, her career was in. Straight the fuck up.
She got
WWE.
way.
When Ronda started speaking, her career was like, okay, Holly Holmes. Remember, it was right around the first Holly Holmes fight when she really started talking shit to people. After the Holly Holmes fight, it was really like tailed off. And then, like you said, she was like, all right, I'm WWE bound.
Yep. Now, one thing I do want to say about Conor, though, because I mean, yes, unfortunately, he's had these ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you have to think about it. He was the first one to become a double champ. The he may have burned too fast, you could say, but he made everybody else hungry.
But that's what I said. He's one of the best champions. I wouldn't necessarily say he's one of the best fighters that we've had up in that top echelon. Right. That were champions. Nope.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And then, like straightforward. Conor a better fighter than Khabib? Like dead serious.
No.
No,
Dead,
No.
I don't know. For me, that's now discipline, 100% Connor. So maybe yeah.
no, I
I
don't
could
think
kind of lean
any
that way.
sort of way because I think Khabib's one of the best wrestlers we've ever seen.
Also, Connor's the only one that's won around against the beef, and that was a Connor that wasn't committed.
You know how that doesn't that you know what that doesn't give me no ups for Connor. That gives me more ups. For Khabib. So you mean to tell me that all the people that he fought, no one's ever went around against him? Connor ran one around against him. We always talked about how great of a champion he is. He's a champion, but
I don't mean
look at
he's just trash.
right
He's
Yeah.
a better champion. Like,
True. Yeah.
he
because
knows how to show up and show out.
proof is in the pudding. I mean,
Mhm.
we know what fucking Khabib did.
Yeah. And even that one too, like me and my buddy Cole, we were talking about that one. He was so wanting Connor win, and I knew gas tank was gonna go out, and then the wrestling, Khabib's endurance, like wrestling with Bear since he was a kid, up in the mountains, Dagestan. Like, yeah, ain't got that, bro,
But
bro.
but put that together. Put that on the cake. Put those ingredients in and bake that cake.
Mhm.
You just said it. Fucking cardio and his wrestling. And his wrestling's so good and his cardio's so good, you can't beat it. They go hand in hand. So
Oh yeah,
He
guaranteed,
kicking that big ass motherfucker.
guaranteed,
Like,
guaranteed.
that's how dope he's wrestling.
what's the old boy's name? Mozgov. The dude that just won. He just beat fucking I think he's about to fight. Damn, I can't get his fucking name right now.
Talking MMA, right?
Yeah, he trains with Khabib. This is his last fight. It was
Oh,
the first. It was his first fight without him. I don't know why I drew a
oh,
blank.
Islam Makhachev.
Moskachev. So you know when I see how good Khabib is, man, how good this motherfucker's wrestling is. He's not even like a wrestler. Like he just as he's training at camp,
Rashad Penzias.
yeah, dude, that shit is says a lot about the product that Khabib is able to produce in the octagon and how it translates to other people around him shows how fucking good it is. And so, like back to the original question that got us all on this is again, Connor's one of the greatest champions. I think Henry Cejudo, one of the greatest champions in UFC history. But I think like there's other guys in that division that were better.
Marab, I think, in all honesty, Marab between Cejudo, I would lean towards Marab of that as well because his conditioning, his wrestling is ferocious.
But I think Henry's one of my favorite fighters ever. So it's a twisted thing. Like you said, you can't be biased to the sport. It's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to keep that structure. Like hard to, especially when you like someone, like when you genuinely like that person or whatever it might be.
Makes it worse when you like both.
Bro, that's why like I tell him all the time, every event now is bittersweet because we see so many people that like we've interviewed each of these guys. We've like talked with both of them and now they got to fight each other. Like a good example too is like Besnik Ashi versus Devin Ray. Like I've interviewed Devin, I've interviewed Besnik. I'm really good buddies with Devin. I think Besnik is a really cool dude and I had to watch them both fight and I was like, bro, it's bittersweet because I have so much respect and admiration for the both of them, and it's like that's where it's like it's so hard not to have the bias and not to be so invested.
I mean, that's what makes me like the sport. That's what
Mhm.
makes me love the sport. Um, sometimes fights make fan favorites. You know, like the Forrest Griffin fight, the going back all the way to Stephen Bonners, and you know, there's many Rashad Evans and Yoda Machida.
The
Man,
f-
like
bro, that was
man,
my
dude.
first favorite one, bro.
Yeah,
That crane kick,
dog.
that crane kick against what was it, Vitor Bell? No, Randy Couture,
It was Couture.
bro.
Fucking Randy Couture, Chuck
Or the
Liddell,
first fight between like Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler, dude.
fucking Robbie and first of but that is the sport. That is combat sports in a nutshell. Is yeah, can't be biased because we love the sport for what it is, and any given day, any given time. If you're not on your game, if you're not putting in the work, you take a break. It can be your time,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Black background.
In boxing years, it's been about
Yeah,
50,000
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Person might come
That's why I have so much. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But I was gonna say that's why I have so much respect for Izzy Adesanya. Like he knows how to take a L. He knows how to always stay humble and graceful. But he's still taking the stage again.
Look at Usman. Look at his brother. He decided he was gonna fight watching his brother fight,
Mhm.
and he's actually a terror.
Yeah.
If he gets a little bit more
Dude.
training, that motherfucker's beast.
Mhm.
spark.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
because you never know. There could be another Floyd Mayweather, something even better. That's a kid right now. Sees you. And that's what sparks the flame. And then you see probably one of the most dominant champions ever.
Well, um, before we start wrapping up, but you know that part is we talk about the journey and we were talking about role models, kids being less and stuff. And one thing that is hard for kids, especially depending on where you're coming from or what situations you've seen or been in, you know, um, it's hard to listen to someone that hasn't. It's hard to listen to someone that you can't relate to at all.
Yeah.
And you know, the one thing about life is you can, have the opportunity to go through something, internalize it, process it, learn from it, change from it, and become something else.
Mhm.
And after doing that process and coming out on the other side, it really develops something that people can never change or take. And that connections made because of it can change lives. And that's what a role model is. At the end of the day, that's
Yeah, because it's like a good way to express that because like you look out of it through history. Look at Beowulf, Sir Gawain, and the Green Knight. Like big. It's almost like it's our innate nature to want to be remembered, to have a legacy. Because back then there were so many cultures that didn't even believe that there was anything afterwards, and it was to create the glory, to create such an epic in this world that your name is going to be shared and spread generation after generation. That's what's going to spark the flame each time, every single time. Mhm.
mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, yeah, anything that you want to say? We want to really want to give a shout out to people.
Definitely. First of all, shout out to Judge. Thank you. Shout out to the audience. Man.
Mhm.
Shout out to the Learning Center. Kevin Carbajal. Shout out to David Benavidez, Jose Benavidez. Shout out to Savage Alcine.
Oh yeah, man.
Definitely. We're definitely gonna have you on again. We
Without so many technical difficulties.
well,
Rocky start at first, but it's
It comes with the territory.
right. I know there's a lot more we didn't get into about you. We went on some tangents a few fucking times, but that's what we love about doing the show the way we do it, man. We don't come in scripted. I don't ask questions. I want to get to know who you are. So the only way to get to know who you are is be able to vibe and adapt and go.
that's the
So
passion.
exactly, definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Definitely do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But till next time, y'all.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole
Rebel soul child got a fist balled, I'm a respawn of ancestors, and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up, I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless, yeah, I got next up, right, no we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride, you do better keeping it quiet, my pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened, I like who I am but I'm biased, they palette is right and my drip is